Okay, so first off, I'm going to put up the tarp. The tarp is in a snakeskin. It's an Aquaquest tarp. And I think the measurements are 10 by 12. So I have the 12-foot length. Since my hammock is 11 foot long, I have the 12-foot length on the ridge line. So what I do is I get 2 wraps around the tree. I don't really use any hardware to hang the tarp. I just go around the tree twice with the paracord. And with this tree, I pretty much just made it. And I want to get it up as high as I could reach. I would have actually done the wrap up higher if it was a smaller diameter tree, but there's a lot of prickly things. This tree is like a big porcupine, a big fat porcupine. Just going to tie 2 half hitches, and when I put them on a bite, they're easy to untie. You just pull the bitter end and they just come right out. Maybe I'll put a close-up of that later. Okay, and now this end is going to go around this piece of blowdown here. This end of the tarp, Aquaquest tarp, in a snakeskin. It's on the ridge line. And the prusik is just a continuous loop. When you wrap it around the ridge line, it creates friction, so it can't be pulled, but it can be pushed. And this tarp is hanging pretty low. Bo, stop digging. Don't do that. This ridge line's actually too slack. You got to get it tighter. Okay, once again, now I'll center. It looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the tarp in the snakeskin. Leave the tarp in the snakeskin while I put up the hammock. If it was raining out, I would just stretch the tarp out and stake it down. But it isn't raining, the weather's nice, so for the demo, I'm just gonna leave the tarp in the snakeskin. Okay, I'm not sure if only the sling, the hammock sling, can hang around the tree. I might have to extend it with a piece of 6mm purlin. I think it's good. Actually, I know it's good. Now the other tree. I like to offset the sling a little bit so it's not coming out at the middle of the tree. That way the sling tightens onto the tree. Okay, I'm going to put the head end over here, which remember is the red drawstring. Hook up the am steel to the carabiner, am steel loop. Foot end here. Now, like I said, I want the foot end higher. Woo! Didn't realize it was stuck on that branch. Trying to steal my hat. Oh. These big trees in the Pacific Northwest can be a little bit of a pain to put up to hang the hammock on. Okay, so I'll stand back and check my angle. My angle is a little shallow. So I let that out one loop, the foot end. Foot end is still higher than the head end. Angle's better, it's not quite 30 degrees what it's supposed to be, but it's good. Now the Blackbird XLC is the Warbonnet model hammock with the shelf on it. I also have an underquilt protector to protect my Wookie. And this side will be my entry and exit side. And for the stakes, sometimes I use half hitches, sometimes I use a clove hitch. The clove hitch pops off easily too, and it's also adjustable. Okay, I'll give you a quick view of the hammock. And there's the piece of cordage that I tied to stretch out this side of the bug net, which is the exit side. And there's the shelf. Okay, I have the underquilt here in my arm. I didn't actually have it in a stuff sack. So this is the foot end of the underquilt. There's a kind of an odd shape on the foot end of the underquilt, and you want to make sure that you don't put that under your back or you'll get a cold back. You know, part of your back will end up getting exposed to the air because there's no down underneath it. And this is the head end. A mistake that I made, if you plan on getting one of these hammocks, and they are quality, that's for sure. This hammock industry is a cottage industry, lots of small businesses specializing in hammocks and all the accessories in the United States. And this is from one of those cottage industries, or small businesses, Colorado, or Warbonnet, like I already mentioned, out of Colorado. And you can also get them off Amazon, made in China. And those hammocks actually are pretty good. I've slept in one in my house for, it's about 3 years old now. But I never take it down, set it up, take it down, set it up, you know, put it through that whole cycle over and over again. So I don't think it would last very long if I did. Okay, anyway, and a mistake that I made when I ordered this that I was going to mention before. If you are interested, don't get the same color hammock and the same color underquilt, because at night you can't really tell whether you are about to sit on the hammock, which is held up by those beaners, those big climbing beaners on either end, or if you're going to sit on the underquilt, which I have done. And if you sit on the underquilt without putting your weight on the hammock, then everything goes on to that really skinny piece of am steel on one end. It's actually on that end right now, and this small red beaner, accessory beaner, which doesn't hold much weight at all, and that's probably what will break, and your butt will hit the ground if you do that. Okay, so here goes the tarp. I want to first make sure that the hammock is centered underneath the tarp, and it isn't. So with the prussiks, I can recenter the hammock. Push that over there. And push this one towards this tree. Get it tight. And that's good. Now I'm going to let it out by pulling back the snakeskin on both sides, and the hammock will just fall out. Snakeskin makes it really easy. You store the tarp with the ridge line running through it, and all of the paracord tie downs already attached to the tarp. And what I do is I just fold them up in halves and just tie an overhand, you know, to keep them from getting all tangled up with each other or themselves. And it's just a matter of, you know, untying that big beefy overhand knot, which is nothing. And I'm just going to tie the tarp. There's no wind, so I'm not going to be too concerned. I know the wind isn't going to pick up later. It's fair weather all week. I mean, it could pick up a little, but nothing threatening. Okay, hammock breakdown is pretty easy. and pretty quick. Where I have half hitches, I have to untie the half hitches, and where I have clove hitches, I just slide the tent stake out of the clove hitch and it'll come undone. So here, for instance, I have a half hitch. So this paracord's pretty slippery, so it's very easy to undo a half hitch. And here I have a clove hitch, and that's how easy it is to undo a clove hitch. So clove hitch on a tent stake looks like this. Comes in, crosses over, and then crosses under like that. And it's adjustable. You can pull on this end to tighten it, or pull on this end to loosen it. And then when you're ready to break down the camp, all of these tent stakes will just slide right off of that clove hitch and they will come right undone. An easy way to tie them is you just make a loop going this way and make a loop going that way, like that. See? And then you just drive the stake through it and you have it. Like that. Put the stake in. And then I take my stake bag after I've undone all the tie downs and put all the stakes in there so I don't leave any behind, hopefully. And then I take each tie down line and half it again, and again, and then I tie an overhand with all those halves, and I end up with this. And I do that with each guy line, or tie down line, whatever you want to call it. Then I'll take the tarp and put those, actually I'm going to put them both on this side so you can see better. I'll put both sides of the tarp on one side of the hammock. And then to get it back inside the snakeskin, it's just a matter of rolling it up, sliding the snakeskin forward. Interesting spider. And just working your way down. And this is a pretty big tarp, and it all goes inside this snakeskin. And that's that. Tarp is inside the snakeskin. When I untie it from the tree, I'll just take that paracord and have it until I, have a workable length, and tie that in an overhand. Same deal as the guy lines. Okay, before breaking down, packing the hammock itself, you want to make sure everything's out of it. Whatever books, flashlights, extra clothes you might have in there, and the underquilt. Pull out the underquilt, stuff it away. Okay, now with this particular Blackbird XLC, comes with a stuff sack that has 2 open ends. I keep the head end of the hammock with the red drawstring, and then I'll slip it over just at the end of the hammock, unclip it from the sling. So now it's not attached to the tree anymore. And then just bunch it up and start stuffing it into the stuff sack. I'm right-handed, so uh-oh, it came apart. That's no big deal. Just get it in there. And a lot of people use snake skins on their hammock as well as the tarp, or instead of the tarp. But this works for me for now. And here's the guy lines for the shelf and the other side of the bug net. Just stuff them in there and they'll come out ready to retie when I'm setting up again. Get to the end, unclip it. I leave the beaners on the hammock sling, on the tree sling, whatever you want to call it. And leave the am steel loop ready to pull out of that stuff sack. Get all this stuff in there. Pull a drawstring. I think I have my stuff sack inside out. Well, it's not going to hurt anything for now. And there it is. Foot end of the hammock, head end of the hammock. And the reason it makes a difference is because you want the shelf alongside of you, you know, up here at shoulder level. And the other difference is you want the head end to be slightly lower than the foot end. Okay? And now, one of the things you're likely to forget in your travels, because I have done it, you know, you're in a hurry to get moving, get skiing, get walking, get riding, whatever you're doing. One of the things you're likely to forget are these slings. So I grab those very next thing. I get them off of the tree because I'm liable to walk away. They blend right into the tree. You look around your camp from what you might have left behind, and you know, you don't even see them. So you can't even see that except for the beaner. And same deal, I just have it and have it. Tie an overhand. And that's too many halves. I think I need one less. Not a big deal. Nothing's a big deal. You can do a figure eight if you have a long thing like this instead of an overhand. And then I'll get those into the stake sack, take down the tarp, put that in the pannier. Since I'm not riding, but you know, that's just what I brought it out here in, a pannier. And yeah, and then that's it.